make the donuts?
That's right. Time to make the donuts. You're breaking up on me. Oh, what's wrong with your mic lately?
Buttons depressed.
Probably because I'm way down into mine.
What's that got to do with your microphone on your computer?
Could be interference with my gold. I don't know.
Alrighty, let's do this thing. But on the set.
You're done.
Quiet on the set. You're listening to WRFB, Radio Free Britannia. As the Oracle foretold, two idiots who would misinterpret the news so you don't have to. Live from Deltona, Florida, the avatars themselves, Jack and Laz.
Greetings, everybody. This is Laz.
And this is Jack. Welcome to Lunch with Laz and Jack, where we interpret the Shroud of the Avatar news. So you don't have to do anything other than question your own personal life choices and ours, because they deserve to be questioned. Giveaways are open on both streams. Hopefully, if you are looking to get in on the streamer bundle, remember you must be a Shroud player, and you need to go to twitch.tv/NBNN News and twitch.tv/Senesist and bang, bundle me. If you are looking to get in on the Steam key giveaway, On Laz's side, which is twitch.tv/NBNN News, that is Bang. I love free shit. And my side, it is Bang the Boutte. And if you don't feel like waiting for a Steam key, you can tip either Laz or myself 300 bits and we'll send that right over. And if you want to trigger a giveaway or change the programming to, say, playing marbles, you can tip us 500 bits or sub. Remember, those
Sub.
are free.
That's right. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you get a free sub every single month, and we'd appreciate them if you use them on our streams.
But you can only choose one.
That's right. The other one you
Who
got
do
to
you
pay
want-
for.
Who do you want to choose? Who do you want to choose, Laz or Jack?
The one that pays the bills. But welcome to today's show, boys and girls. It is Thursday, July 3rd, 2025 here, inside and outside Shroud of the Avatar as we head into the 4th of July weekend. And a long weekend for us because this is the last show of the week. This week and next week will be short weeks for us because, hey, I'm the boss and I can take off time whenever the hell I feel like it, so I feel like it.
Yeah.
But truth be told, yes, I'm traveling down south and gonna go visit some family, headed to West Palm Beach, heading to Miami Beach, and gonna be visiting some family, enjoying some holiday festivities and birthdays and getting together with family and all that good stuff you do over the holidays. So we will be off starting tomorrow and we will return next Wednesday because I did decide finally that even though I'm going to be traveling on Monday, I'm going to need a day to recoup from all this when we get back. So I'm going to also take Tuesday. So the show will resume next Wednesday. But of course, if you all missed this, tune into our Discord or Twitter, tweet, x.com, and you'll be able to get the latest updates and posts right there. So, but meanwhile, we got to talk about some things today. Do we know what things we're talking about, or are we going to make this up as we go along today?
Are we doing what?
I says, do we know what we're talking about, or are we going to make this up as we go along today?
We're making it up like we do every day. I mean, I will say that the discussion yesterday in our Discord channel about the rarity of houses and how it would take a guild to pay the taxes for a city-sized lot. All empty things. I mean, I saw that this morning. It's like, they changed their mind a multitude of times.
They changed their mind a multitude of times. Well, as we
And
may come revisit all that chatter eventually today. Maybe, I don't know. As that was all based on a comment from DWIP yesterday that said they had limited towns to 200 or 300, which was not quite true. And he even went so far as to find a video of us saying 25, because 25 was initially one of their guesstimates. But we'll maybe get to that later on. But do you happen to have Balance Suggestion Overall Games still open by any chance?
wait, what?
Stuff from earlier in the week. Do you still have all those topics open?
I gotta scroll up through all of them.
You know, that and the Vicklin crystals topics
I've
and
got all the Vicklin crystals, but Balance is not listed as one of the ones that I have open.
Not listed, huh? Okay. Well,
I do not think you sent me a balance one.
it was there. But here, I will refresh it for you. As this was directly related to the private mode topic.
Yes.
And of course, you're going to laugh because, well, let's get right to it.
Balance suggestion overall game. Private mode, remove me. Causes lack of visibility of players to new players. And as we've said multiple times, and was the final comment that we covered yesterday, the number of scenes and the number of POTs mathematically adds up to less than
A
one third of a
partial
person
player per scene. Yes, a partial
per
player
scene. Yes.
per scene.
So removing private mode, completely useless. You need more players to have a visibility.
Well, first off, again, if we had all those players, people would be clamoring to put it back if it was taken out, because
Yes.
then they'd all be screaming, "I can't farm. Somebody keeps beating me. This guy has more experience. How am I ever gonna catch up?" So, we've heard both sides of the coin on these arguments, and basically, I'm just gonna say it. Deal with it. It's part of the game. Stop complaining about it
Yeah.
because it's not going to change.
Hey. Remember, complaints are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Yeah. We'll get into that maybe in a little bit. Maybe.
Would help with oversaturation of more common artifacts. Enable a stat on the launcher website shows actual player count online. Steam numbers not showing true number, which most reviews look at, shows the game in the wrong light. Remember, Steam is going to account for a quarter of the players.
Not even.
By
Well, they have always said 1/3, which is actually more than a quarter, but
I mean, shit. I use the Steam launcher. Laz uses the Steam launcher. A lot of people I know use the Steam launcher. The normal game client patcher, half to 2/3 to 75%. And if you start looking at Steam and you start paying attention to that Steam chart, even if you multiply those numbers by 4,
yeah,
it's still useless.
still no good. Which makes me ponder and laugh. I don't know if you recall this, but do you remember when a burger chain decided to go up against McDonald's quarter pounder?
You mean the A&W with the third pounder?
The third pounder, yes, the third pounder. And of course, the idiots out there said, "Why would I get a third pounder when I can get a quarter pounder that weighs more?" And yes,
yeah.
It was one of the biggest advertising failures ever because people didn't realize that 1/3 of a pound was actually bigger than 1/4 of a pound. Yes. But just throwing those numbers around made me think about that, which just always make me chuckle. Biggest advertising fail ever. We're gonna give you a bigger burger for a cheaper price, but you don't want it because you think you're not getting a deal.
Yep.
You're not coming through at all, Omir. You got to do something about that mic, dude. Anyway, moving right along. Moving right along. What are you doing?
Does it sound better now?
Well, we can hear you. It
Third.
doesn't
Oh, okay.
doesn't sound better, but we can hear you. Now, if I could just hear Jack.
Do what? But so right now,
Morgan with the
right
prime
now,
sub. 9
Steam
months.
charts is showing 19 players. Even if we multiplied that by 4,
Still under 100
that's still
players.
still under 100 players.
Yeah. Morgan, what are we doing, buddy? Are we playing with our balls, or are we going to continue with the nudes? Your choice.
How about some nude balls?
The nudes. All right.
Uh,
So at the bottom of the hour,
okay.
I'll do an
Well-
extra game key giveaway.
Yes.
Unless somebody else subs and wants to play marbles, then we'll play a second game. But 19 people on the Steam charts, huh? Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Considering I've got 22 players online on my friends list.
Yeah, I've got a whole 25. And I have the list.
The most comprehensive friends list in the game.
That's right.
Yes. Okay, so loot tables. Tighten me up. Narrow me down per mob type or boss type. Example, now I looted dragon. The good loot is possible 30 some odd different artifacts in the loot table, most not having any relation to said dragon. Torque Doll can drop any artifact from what I can tell, except ones that are exclusive to other bosses like the spider boss and so on. Example, a more organized way to set a loot table. Orange Dragon eliminate from loot table most to all non-related artifacts. Generic junk loot. % chance in addition to below common loot, 75% chance. Fire ring common, uncommon loot, 20% chance. Wand of the Undying Embers common. Rare loot, chance of Veklin's Ember of Conflagration common.
Well, why would you drop a common one if you want it to be rare loot? Shouldn't it be uncommon?
Well, he's saying that like Vexlin's Ember of Conflagration is a rare
Right, but wouldn't you want the uncommon
artifact.
second step variant to be the rarer version variant of that?
The fun part is him not understanding the 128 commons that you need in order to craft an epic.
Yeah. One of the worst decisions I think they ever made was artifact changes. They should have just left them alone. Should have just left them alone.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a complete waste of energy and time and everything else related to, hey, let's fix artifacts.
But we didn't fix anything. We just made a bigger mess of it.
Yeah, made a bigger mess, and not only that. Hey, Laz, how do you make an item a light source?
You don't.
Oh, but isn't my Sword of Bahir a light source?
Ah, yes. You sort of here, our Lord's cloaks, our Duke's cloaks,
Yeah.
our Knight's cloaks.
Yeah. It's like some items in game are light sources, but you can't craft it. And remember, all the best items are supposed to be crafted, so they should have made those things craftable.
Well, adding a light enchantment to anything should be part of the crafting skill, and the magic system
Yeah.
that you should be able to imbue light onto just about anything so that, you don't have to rely on spells, but that was another failure um, in the dev, yeah, just in the development. I'm not even going to say in the dev team,
Oh,
just in development, because
the,
it was something that was promised, but
the crafting.
yeah, but just fell the wayward side, fell through the cracks.
Yeah. I mean, it's so silly. So silly. How about some skill tree balance? Or I'm
No,
sorry,
you're
NPC
missing, yeah, I was
balance.
going to say, you're missing a whole topic there.
Hey. I'm going to be as general as possible, considering this is a big topic. There are a few builds that are what I would call viable for attenuation. Bludgeon and Spindle Extreme fire anywhere with high mob density, any taming build, and taming and bard build. The problem with other builds does not only lie in the build itself, it lies in the resistance of the NPCs. With my personal experience, I know that if I make very good air build with high intelligence, dex, and high attunement, and I go to Spindle, I will not be doing more than 30 some odd damage due to NPC resistances being extremely high. This is the same issue with death builds. And not just in Spindle Skag. I also think that death being able to drain life from death style mobs at a low percentage. What?
Yeah, I think he's got that
That's
backwards.
an incomplete thought there.
Yeah.
This would open a lot more of the game to the player. In conclusion, the NPCs in the game need a serious resistance balance pass. It's not only just the resistance balance pass, they need better skill usage. Remember, if you take a tier 1 mob and a tier 15 mob that are the same species, the only difference between the two
Is hit points.
is what, class?
Hit points.
Hit points. They use the exact same skills. And we have demonstrated that on stream with the piggies out in a tier 2 plus scene where you've got a tier 2 mob and a tier 15 mob. So 30,000 hit points.
30,000 hit points. Yeah. In a tier 2 scene. Ridiculous.
If you go fight a troll, which is what, a tier 3, tier 4 mob?
Tier 3 to 5, yeah, depending.
3 or, I mean, no, but it's also in other scenes as well. So, you will find out that the exact same logic is used on Torque Doll, which is your boss mob.
Yeah, well, he's a tier 10, isn't he? Something like that.
Something like that. So why are we using the exact same enemy AI for skill choices? They really should need to spend a lot of time to go through and improve the skills that are being used by mobs, not just resistances. So I think that's a very minimal look, trying to just say focus on their resistances. And remember, there is no resistance to bard skills.
Bard. Because
now,
we added the skill set to the non-existent episode 2, but that was all added after all the resistances were all set in stone, so no mobs have any resistances to skills that were added after everything was set. Things that make you go, yeah.
The funny thing is, like, there should be a spell called Silence.
Silence.
Do you have a skill called
kill you.
Silence? Well, if you cast Silence on a mage, they wouldn't be able to cast. And if you did that on a bard, they wouldn't be able to cast.
Good thoughts.
Ooh.
That would also be useful on casting NPCs.
Yes. And then from there, it's like, so you build in that silence And you can either have like a zone of silence or target an individual for a duration. Ooh, how about that for a
Ooh,
skill?
things that make you go,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
Are you ready for the
Yeah.
big elephant in the room?
Skill tree balance.
What are we going on now? Oh, that's crafting. I'm sorry, not skill trees. Crafting. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, remember the crafting
Crafting's
balance
first.
pass. Crafting balance pass. They're still in what, data collection? They're still trying to write down recipes by hand.
That's the last thing we heard.
Yeah, because exporting that stuff from the database, way too much fun. But or looking at other ways of exporting it, but tweaks across the board are needed. I'm not going to know about or have the same space to list everything. I'm going to concentrate on the standouts. Does he even mention attenuation in here? No, he doesn't. I'm going to go off topic on this thing real quick.
Sure.
Bring up your in-game skill tree.
In-game skill tree.
Okay.
Let's bring it up. Come on. Skills.
And
adventuring. Which one we want to look at?
so yeah, I need you to go to your magic tree.
Yeah.
And look at fire and water. Okay.
Let's do fire.
Fire. Okay.
Because I actually have attenuation in fire.
Well, I have 84 fire attenuation.
I have 90.
I don't. And then over in water, I have 70.
I have 0 in water because I have
So you have
zero
no skills in water?
Zero.
Okay.
Not a single point.
What about earth and air?
Air, I have 11. And earth, I have 15.
Okay. So remember the idea of there are no classes. You get to choose where you allocate your skill points, right? And part of that is your attenuation score as it relates to the amount of skills that you have invested in that tree. And until you get into the warding skills, okay, and so on the skill tree, that's the bottom right one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does it actually affect the attunement of the opposing school? They should have not even worried about that warding skill, because as you're expending points in, say, the earth tree, it should be reducing the attunement in the opposing
Should be.
tree.
That's what they said.
Automatically. I mean, that's what the original design doc for that attunement was. You go up, opposing, you go down. The only one that didn't have the opposing was chaos. But I think that chaos, that they like chaos bolt should have actually like just randomly tossed one of the bolts from or arrows from one of the random school. But that was the original idea. They never did that. And so as you increase your skill points, it just is approximately 1/10 of the points in that skill tree that you have expended. Approximately 1/10.
Yeah.
So, like my fire tree, I have 861 skill points in it, in an attunement of 84, versus water, I have 718 skill points and 70 attunement.
Yeah, see now
But
my life and my death. Life, I have 100 attunement with 1,172 points.
yeah,
And my death, I have 50 attunement with only 502 points put
well,
into there.
I am really susceptible to death because I have negative 62 attunement because I have death warding.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I haven't done any of the
Yeah,
wardings for some reason.
yeah.
Yeah. Now hold on here.
Um,
Okay, life warding. Okay, I was gonna say at first I thought that was the opposite. Which is
yeah,
the correct opposite. Yeah,
yeah.
I wonder why I never got into warding. That's interesting.
I mean, I just have it for death warding. That's the only warding skill that I actually
Was
have.
that something that was added later? Because I don't have even
Yes,
fire.
yes.
Yeah, I don't have any warding skills in anything. Whereas I went and GM'd, certain things across the board. I mean, the only thing I don't have GM'd in fire is fireproof, and I'm just like, I must have lost a point because I'm like just a hair under 100 at 99.
I don't even have highly flammable, but my fireproof is at 99.
Yeah,
I I really should like just waste the XP just to get a bunch of these up to 99 just for shits and
and
grins.
warding has zero prerequisites. Very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty damn funny.
Yeah, zero prerequisites. Look at that.
Yeah.
Somebody
They
screwed the pooch
shroud
on that.
logic that.
Yeah, somebody
Shroud
screwed the
logic
pooch
that.
on that.
But um that is another fix that they should do related to combat. So that way you're forcing individuals to not GM everything, to choose their schools and choose their builds. Now, for the single player version of the game, you can open that up and allow them to GM whatever and spend all those skill points however they want. But
Yep.
for the multiplayer, you should go ahead and say, hey, let's go ahead and force you down to choose things because opposing school stuff will possibly screw parts of your build. Or do like they did with the potions. What is that in the tactics tree?
I don't know.
The potion, the drinking potion thing, or even the mounted carry capacity and the speed focus, where as you bring one up, it drops the opposing one. But I've got both of them like at 86, so I still have like -1 mounted speed, but my skill level at 86 gives me +2 mounted speed. So my mounted speed is still plus 1.1 total, even with the negative. Where are the potions at? I didn't know.
What do you mean
Thought it was under the
potions?
tactics. Well, there's a potion strength and a potion longevity thing.
I never realized that.
Oh, yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I mean I've got most everything trained up in tactics.
Where is that? Maybe it's under the focus tree. Nope. Where's the potion?
Elixir
one?
receptive? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes. Yeah. What
Yeah,
tree is that under?
that's under the
Okay.
focus. Yeah.
Yeah. Elixir receptive. Oh wait, no, that's
Slightly increases the effectiveness of
okay.
consumables.
And increases the effectiveness of consumable effects. Note, learning this skill untrains the tactics skill elixir extension. So as you chug one, it lowers the opposing one. So the other one is actually in tactics. Because Shroud logic for your potions. So like
Looking
my
for it. Where is elixir extension? I just
bottom
don't
left.
see it.
Bottom left.
Bottom left. Okay.
Yeah.
Extends the durations of consumable effects.
Yeah. So like mine, I have 101 elixir extension.
I have 100.
And so that gives you a plus 100% consumable duration bonus. But if you go back to the focus tree and look at the elixir receptive,
I don't
that
have
would
anything there.
do
Yeah.
that would do the consumable bonus power. Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, we're past time.
But yeah, both of those should be on the same skill tree, probably under tactics. Not one in focus, the other one in tactics. Because does that shit make sense there, Lass?
Morgan!
That
No,
they're in different trees?
I had forgotten that there was even such a thing. Because it
Yeah.
makes absolutely no sense.
But Noob Skyblab are going to be getting a streamer bundle from me.
Noob's on the lot.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Why can I not
There
hit
you
that
go, Noob.
mailbox?
I don't know. It didn't move, so.
I know,
Operator
but
error?
it's just been giving me problems all day today.
I can hit it fine. Maybe there's a lack of things in the way, and now it's completely messed with your mouse.
Hey, that can you guys hear me all right?
That's a little better,
What?
yes.
That elixir receptive skill. How do you train? You get to train somebody. You get to get that from somebody.
You have to train that, so you need to go to your skill trainer.
Go
and
to your
Al's
skill
head
trainer
and go-
like anything else. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then go
I wasn't
unlock
sure.
it.
I haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, it's been in the game for a long time.
All right, moving right along.
Moving right along, going back to this guy's post. Skill tree balance. Because the Shroud math, and this would be the 15th time to tweak skill trees.
Oh, hold on. I
And
was supposed to do a giveaway at the bottom of the hour for a game key,
which
which
yes.
I forgot, so I'm going to do that right now. And Andrea, kill on sight. You are the winner.
Yay.
Let me see what we got, because I forgot we had a sub that was triggering that because he didn't want to play marbles. And you're going to get a copy of Strike Force Kitty.
Nice.
Strike Force Kitty on Steam. And that is currently on sale because of the July 4th sale, but retail value $8.
Yay.
Continue.
Okay, so polearm tree has a low crit rate overall, not taking advantage of the crit damage poles are good at. Focus cost for polearm abilities is extremely high. The bludgeon tree, too many crowd controls when using all your abilities in spam type build. The crowd control resistant buffs stack too quickly. Due to multiple abilities having the same CC on them, maybe spread out the different CCs amongst the melee trees. Stun with bludgeon, knockdown with poles, knockback with swords. Swords.
One of your favorites.
What, I haven't used swords in a long time.
No,
I've got bludgeons.
Your favorite complaints.
Most of the abilities have a huge delay to the animations, keeping you from using other abilities after each other. Feels really bad and non-fluid in their movements. You don't like the Shroud logic as far as how things are used? I could always test my animations and everything else against a practice dummy and call it good to go. Air. Overall damage output is low. Crowd control resistance stacking and an issue here as well. Maybe enable the ability to modify abilities to remove crowd control and add damage. Enable a way of removing the focus drain from the attunement buff. A buff should not make you worse. Creates an issue for new players trying to use air as an option. Well, doesn't air work best with ranged?
I've never been a fan.
I mean, you're not a fan of ranged just because you're old and slow.
No, I'm not a fan of air whatsoever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't see air doing damage. You know, I understand fire damage. I understand, sun damage.
Well, air is where you get your electricity.
Yeah.
Electrical damage sucks, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The one, so out in the breach with all the mini bosses, the one that kills me the most frequently is the air boss. He just fucks me up. But yeah. Earth. The damage is horrible. AoE cast time is very bad. Should be able to insta-cast without stopping your movement.
Did you do death, or did you just jump over death?
Oh, no, I'll go back to death.
Yeah.
Maybe make it leave behind a minor damage effect on the ground where you cast it. Maybe a constant knockdown chance. Well, I mean, ever since the 5 stacks of earthquakes would kill people in one hit, they nerfed the fuck out of it and forgot to actually go back and do that. So, death. Overall sad and depressing. Maybe due to almost everything high level having high resistance to death.
Yeah.
Need some kind of PB AoE, including drain with it. Would help with the viability in bigger fights. Need to be able to drain health even from death mobs. I would suggest a lower rate of healing. Don't you mean a higher rate of healing? But isn't the death supposed to be the less hit points you have, the more damage you do? Shroud math?
On one skill.
Oh. The Shroud math on that? One
Yes.
skill, not for all of them?
If we can go back to the skill tree real quick, into the death skill tree, that would be, was it Death Field? Yes, Death Field. The area affects life drain becomes more powerful the closer the caster is to death. But of course, they screwed the pooch on that one. I stopped at 70. I stopped in my 70s on all these Death Touch, Death Dray, and Death, because they just screwed Death so bad that it wasn't even worth putting any more points into it. And Tap Soul was supposed to be drain away life to draw in focus was supposed to be a really good one, to keep you charged, but that never really took off either. That was just I was all about becoming a death mage before they screwed the pooch with
They Shroud mathed it.
Yeah, they just totally ruined the death build as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
My 2 cents.
the water tree. The damage
wow.
is shitty as well. I understand that this is probably meant to be a support skill tree. Slow, just not good enough. The shield needs more incentive to use it over the alternatives. Sun damage sucks as well. Also, secondary for sure. The cone is too expensive on XP and focus cost. Maybe have a meteor AoE that locked you into its focus attack, slowly drain focus over time while doing damage. Doesn't end casting until you end the cast. The moon tree. The debuffs are not good enough. Damage is almost okay. Fire works great.
No touchy. No touchy.
Yeah.
Fire, the most overpowered skill tree in the game.
Yes. Yes. Well, I thought that was barding and taming.
Well, that's the best combo skill trees, but standalone fire.
Standalone skill tree is
standalone
fire.
fire, absolutely. Yeah.
Because fire does the most damage.
I remember watching what was his name? Wolf Tam. And he was one of the first people to get, his fire all the way up into the 140 areas really early on, and he would go out to DRW and just obliterate, running in circles and just gain XP like nobody's business. He would take people out there on runs.
That was also the days of corpse explosion killing everything in the scene.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, before they screwed corpse explosion really good.
Well, they shroud mapped it.
Yeah, well,
I'm still pissed off that the fucking animations for skills are all static and not based off of the skill level and the range.
You mean like a level 1 Ring of Fire and a level 100 Ring of Fire is the same exact animation?
Yes. And in the exact same size.
Range, yeah, the same range, yes.
Yeah,
same size, same range. Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck didn't y'all tie that to the actual like size of the spell? Because your visual indicator is what you're using for shit, and it's like half the time you have no idea whether or not something's in or out of something because shroud logic. What?
Variables are hard.
Oh, variables are hard. Yes. So light armor. Turn me into medium armor. Leather, add a dex debuff with crit damage or crit chance on specialization. Add light armor. Cloth base me around caster builds, including an int buff with crit chance or damage on specialization.
Isn't it already that way? I thought light armor was based around caster builds.
Well,
I thought that was the whole point of light armor.
So remember, we only have 2 types of armor in Shroud. Heavy or light. What he's wanting is a 3rd category called medium. And move your leather armor into medium and not light armor. And then light armor would be more focused towards cloth-based builds.
Let's see.
So
my chain armor is considered heavy armor, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I know the armor types are very, very minimal. It's the same way that a dagger and a sword are considered blades. They don't really vary much as far as damage or damage types, even though you could have a rapier that is doing your double slash.
Yeah.
The rapier is a pokey weapon, not a slashy weapon.
Pokey, pokey.
Whereas a cutlass would be slashy, slashy, not pokey, pokey. Unless it's very soft, then it can poke. But all of that shows very minimal thought towards combat in general. Because veteran game developers with their My Little Pony support. The subterfuge tree, 2 attacks with 0 damage on them. Backstab animation delay, huge amount of time before you can use another ability. Stealth ability is near non-usable. Games needs hand-to-hand weapons. The stat loss by not using weapons doesn't make this viable option. You mean that pugilism skill isn't exactly useless, except it's only usable for Stone Fist, your Gust, and other spells, and then it's
good
just
for
a
horse
bonus.
training.
It has absolutely nothing to do with beating someone to death
Good for
and
horse
boxing
training.
or any kind of martial arts. These are all my opinions and my suggestion. This comes from my years of experience in this MMO and many others. I ask the devs to contact me with questions. I volunteer my time freely to a game I wish to play for a long time to come. To me, you just missed a few dozen different things that would have been a little bit more comprehensive. But yes, as far as your combat balance stuff. But yeah, hey, Frost 2, complete agreement with everything you said.
Yeah.
So Laz, what do you think about the fact that your rusty sword, or Sword of Bahir, is pretty much doing the exact same things and same types of attacks as, say, a dagger or a rapier?
I think that they found one animation and decided that they were going to quit there because they would fill it in later. And then they fired
Yeah.
everybody and none of it ever got achieved.
Oh, so
Oh,
Shroud
that's
of
what
the
actually happened.
Half-Aplar?
That's what actually
Oh,
happened. No,
yeah.
never mind.
Well, no,
Never
well,
mind.
some of like the inclusion of like skins for weapons, and we can actually bring up the Kodo store for this because some of them are actually go to patterns and weapons.
Patterns and weapons. Patterns and weapons. Yeah.
So let's look at the like different types of swords. So at the very top, you've got the basket hilt sword, the bastard sword, and the chain sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that chain sword, look at that design. Can that do pokey pokey? Or that if that poked you, it would just like kind of push you out of the way and be slightly uncomfortable, right? I mean, then look at the one right below that, the Unort dagger. That one would pokey the fuck out of you, right? But if you had different weapons and different weapons type that would actually say what you're doing, they could actually use that thing that's damn near impossible. Variables are hard. And go back to the skill tree for blades.
Yeah.
And what they could do, depending on which weapon you have equipped, because we know they're everything else is too hard, and they could actually modify
Easy.
And this would be set as variables. These skills, like if you have a dagger equipped, for like say rend, right? That you could change that to twist the blade or something like that. So, which does that bleed effect a little bit differently. But things like whirling blade wouldn't make sense with a dagger.
Well, it would
You
if
might
you
even
were
like,
in close, but you know.
yeah. But you would like, but double slash with and the quadruple slash wouldn't make a lot of sense with a dagger. So you would have to modify that skill to something more pokey, double poke.
Pokey, pokey, smoky,
Yeah.
smoky.
But and that would be variables are hard based off of what kind of weapon you actually had enabled.
Well, see, at that point, I would say that then the blades category would need to be broken down into subsets, you know, like you're talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there would be one category for daggers, there would be one category
Yeah.
for short swords, there would be one category for
swords,
two-handed
bastard
swords. Right. Well, I would put
Flambeige.
scepter. I would put scepters, short swords, and
A
all
scepter
that
would
in
go
the
into your
same.
bludgeoning.
Not a scepter, but what am I thinking of? A scimitar.
Oh yeah, scimitar. Yes.
Yeah, I
As
would
a
put those all
weapon,
in
yeah.
one. Like a short, short and long swords would probably be in the same category, basically.
Well, so
Whereas
what I would do is
a
I would do
two-handed
it
or
slashing
broadsword.
versus piercing.
Oh, there you go. There's another option: slashing versus piercing.
And then the damage modifier itself would be on the weapon itself.
But they decided to do that between swords and pole arms. Pole arms is considered piercing for some reason.
Shroud logic, man.
Yeah, I mean shroud logic. Whereas if you truly want piercing, then we're talking bow and arrow, which is truly piercing. So.
Are you sure?
Well,
remember early on when we actually had different types of arrows, and they actually had one with the exploding arrow and things like that.
Yeah, we had the real fire arrow and the real poison arrow, and the real regular arrow and the real crossbow bolt, and instead of just making it generic, that we just have arrows that actually work as crossbow bolts as well, which is.
Are you saying Shroud of the Avatar?
Yeah, I'm saying Shroud of that we gave up and just decided to take the easiest path of least resistance when it came to, and the really screwed up part is we actually had the tech. It was already there. They took it out, like diable armor. The tech is there. We've seen it. We've shown it off. We've got video of it. But we decided to eliminate it.
Look at that time.
I know. I'm watching the time. I'm trying to eat up that last minute real quick, as we do this. But I guess we can take that time to slowly pull these final giveaways of the day and wish everybody a happy 4th of July weekend, something like that.
Morkin's the big winner on my stream.
I got 4 whole people entered and pulling that giveaway. And Lomir, hey Lomir, you need to open all those streamer bundles, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
But Morkin
otherwise, the devs are gonna stop giving you streamer bundles.
I know. I Torah. For a second, I thought that was going to be a Torah-based game, but no. Discover the world of Nawakan in this 2D action platformer. You are Itora, the only human in this strange place. Good luck breeding. You're going to die anyways.
Julian, good afternoon. And Happy 4th of July as you get here,
Yes.
as we are getting ready to take our leave for a
I
5-day
know.
weekend.
How about next
Enjoy
week?
your 4th. Enjoy your Canada Day, our Canadian friends.
All right, Lomir, spit it out, whatever it is, before I
Hope
pull
you
my
watch
final giveaway.
Strange Brew.
How about next Wednesday? If you have nothing better to talk about, I can open some streamer bundles.
You're gonna open all of them. We,
Yeah,
we,
right.
we, we, we got plenty of room on the lot back here now for you to sit here and show it off. Now that we've cleaned up the lot back there, we can actually use that space to showcase shit. But closing the final giveaway, picking our final winner, and Dwip,
Ooh.
Dwip,
Yay!
you got the final game key of the week, and you are going to get a copy of Call of Juarez. Call of Juarez going out to you, and that is 80% off its retail value of $10 on Steam, going out to Dweep. All right, folks, we are gonna roll on out of here for the 4th of July weekend. We will be back next Wednesday after an extended vacation. And everybody, I
Yay!
hope you all have a safe and happy one. I hope you all enjoy your weekends. Nobody blow themselves up. We want to see you all back here next week, all safe and sound with all your body parts. So, till then, happy 4th of July, everybody. I'm Laz.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Lomi.
And we are NBNN. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.